Yeah, it is a bit of a mystery, and as I learn to play it, the mystery continues to unfold. For me, this instrument started because I grew up playing cello as my first instrument, and then kind of left that classical world and wanted to learn to play in a band and play bass and then guitar and stuff and write songs. And then I found out that there was this instrument that existed, kind of in my mind it was like, oh, at one time, like discovering lost treasure. That was a fretted version of a cello. And I was like, I gotta hear this. And I looked it up. I found recordings, but it wasn't anything it was very chamber music. It wasn't anything I could relate to as a songwriter. But I'm like, but this seems like the resonance of it, the range of it seems like it would make a good songwriter instrument. And I was looking to maybe get a hold of one, or there were old Gibsons. But the cost of buying an old vintage 1920s Mandocello was cost prohibitive. And then I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, maybe I can find someone to just make one for me. And I knew John Rauhaus and loved his instrument, and kind of was aware of Stephen from that. And so I just kind of reached out to him and said, hey, is this, we through messages and texts and stuff, I was like, yeah, is this something you'd be interested in, maybe seeing if we can come up with an idea to work? And his immediate response was, yes, that's right up my alley. And as we talked about it, we're like, so all the old Gibsons are, they're basically just big mandolins, and they're fully acoustic, and they stopped making them somewhere around 1929. And then as the jazz era kind of took off and electric guitars kind of came around, jazz music, and it just wasn't an instrument for that, it kind of faded away. And mandolins found a home in bluegrass and whatever, but these kind of disappeared. But it always kind of was like, there's got to be a way to make this work as a songwriter instrument. And as we talked about it, we decided, well, what if we come up with something that's sort of, what if they kept making them after 1929 and they evolved into the, the 40s? What would they have been like? And that was the genesis of this instrument. So I didn't know what I was going to get when it was done. We just had this cool idea, and this is exceeded anything I could have imagined. But it's like it's uncharted territory. There's not a repertoire for it really, other than the old chamber music, and maybe you can convert mandolin or bluegrass to it, but there's almost no singer-songwriter stuff. There's a few things. So I've been figuring it out, and I just started with learning. I had to learn all the chords and things, and I'm approaching it like just picking, classic, what I think are some of the greatest songs ever written, and how can I kind of translate that to this instrument? And somewhere along the way, hopefully there'll be some good written songs that come out of this too, and I can write something.